maybe Lagos State, the highbrow part experienced flooding. But let's come to, say, a place like Suleja in Niger State, and people were building down a hill, obviously where water was going to pass through. You have to ask, what was government looking at? Is it that they did not think that we could give these people alternative shelter?
So okay, that's why I said it's not just about the resources available to government. It will never be enough. No resources will ever be enough for the kind of needs and wants of people. But it is about government being proactive. So when people are building in certain areas, and you have government experts who can see the beauty of science, the beauty of modern day knowledge and technology is that we're able to create scenarios. What would happen if there's serious flooding? What will happen if River Niger were to break its banks? What will happen to this? So we're able to see ahead, and then we can, and it's not just to come to people and say, it's going to be rain, there is rainy season, there will be intensive rain this year, so please move up plan. Move up plan to where? People are that helpless, they are disempowered. So government needs to be a little bit more proactive. You have places where people can move to. You also help to change mindset and orientation. It's not everybody who cannot move away from where they are. But there's this hold on, this is our ancestral land. This is where our forefathers have lived. There's no way we are living here. You need to invest in changing those kind of mindset. But you also need to deliver services.
Some people will say that it's too late for proactivity right now, because whatever step any government takes in the aftermath of a flood cannot be termed proactive.
It's no longer proactive.
But what do you think that right now, the floods have receded first of all, were those flash floods? The fact that it was raining for 3 days and everywhere was flooded, and a day after the floods have receded.
So even less than a day actually, because by night eventually in Lekki, many parts, at least the road became passable. So you can say that that's flash flood. But flash flood really don't last for several hours. Immediately the rain stops, within an hour it's gone. This happened because the water couldn't go anywhere.
You don't think it was as a result of rising sea levels?
Well, that's why I've said that climate change has its role in this. The sea level is rising. The intensity of the rain within a short time is so massive. So that's why, to an extent, as a people, there might not be much we can do. And you see this across the world. In Italy, in China, you see
Germany,
everywhere. So yes, to an extent, you see governments doing things. Here in this part of the world is see no evil, hear no evil. People are not showing the level of responsibility that we should be showing, and because we are not doing the things we are supposed to be doing, we are also not holding government accountable. So
in that sort of situation where we can say there was maybe a flash flood in quotes, even though you say that there will be other qualifications for it to be flash flood, what can the state government do? Is the state government really helpless against the callings of Mother Nature?
I would take a state like Lagos. One has to empathize with Lagos because nobody takes stock of who comes to Lagos. So no matter how much you invest in educating people, in public information services, how much you invest in trying to put infrastructure, when new people come, it means that these services, these actions has to be continuous. And then the number of homeless people in Lagos, the number of shanty areas in Lagos tells you that the way people flood to Lagos, it's a challenge for the state. But that notwithstanding, Lagos State is a state that, you can see that a level of thinking has been invested into where the state is right now. But a lot of these might be lost because you can't have a mega city where even the rich also cry. It's not really the poor people who live in some parts of Lekki that were flooded. It's not really the poor people whose big, very expensive vehicles, were taken over by the flood. So it means that if you really want to invest, attract people to the state, attract investment, we need to invest in infrastructure. I would commend the states for the kind of, for instance, road construction that is going on in some parts of the state. If you take some of those construction going on along Ekpe, you will see that, okay, this will be much more resilient, because they have big drains. So when you have this kind of flooding, water can go straight to the lagoon. But that is if the lagoon is not blocked. So that will take you to another issue. How is the state coping with waste management? And I think that the waste management problem of Lagos is too perennial. Sometimes you have some relief, and at other times, it keeps coming. It's a vicious cycle.
So that's one of the areas that they must look to. But I'm very concerned about the future of a coastal state like Lagos. Around the world now, we're seeing that a lot of island nations are crying for help, and we have been told that a lot of coastal communities will experience flooding over this period, and it doesn't look like they have much power over that. If we continue with this trend, what do you see for the future of Lagos? So a lot of people who are concerned about that as well.
So there is an intergovernmental panel on climate change report that coastal cities might be submerged. That's a real threat, and that is if we go at the level of